What do you want? I'm in the middle of a podcast. Leave me alone.
This guy who really is, I think, a bad guy. Russell, I think you are a bad guy.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what the truth.
I don't want him knowing where I live.
You can hate Russell, but one thing you cannot take from Russell is his ability to play that game.
I ain't finished playing just yet.
Welcome to the Russell Hantz Show. We are 2 months away from season 35 of Survivor and the LA live show of my show. But the wait for Survivor Australia Season 2 is over. If you're listening to this show, you're probably a big Survivor fan. Well, I am pushing for you to find a way to watch Survivor Australia because I think it's going to be really great, and we're going to have lots of coverage recapping episodes and breaking down the season. It premieres this weekend, and today we're bringing on the creator of Australian Survivor Community, Ryan Brink, to discuss what is in store for this season. Here's Ryan. We are talking Survivor. That's Australian Survivor with a expert. Ryan, would you say you're an expert? This is Ryan Brink. Welcome to the show, Ryan.
Hey, Russell. I would say theoretically I am an expert, but that's all it is. I've never been tested in practice, so who knows?
Right. Have you ever thought about actually playing the game?
Yeah, of course. I think every fan thinks about playing the game. And, now coming to Australia, when it finally came, I was definitely one of the first people to try and get on. Got close, but we'll have to see what happens in the future.
You do see what happens to experts, right?
Yeah, they get it. Their first boots.
I mean, who is that in the U.S. Survivor that actually taught classes on it? Was that Max?
Max Dawson, yes. I love Max. Max and Corinne have a
cool
great podcast as well.
I listened to their show the other day. It was hilarious. She's so funny when she tells her stories. But let's get to Australian Survivor, man. We start Sunday. That will be, for us, I don't know if that's later or earlier. I'm not really sure, but it's probably
I think that'll be like Sunday morning your time.
Okay. So it starts on Sunday, your time, at 7, 8 o'clock?
Yeah, 7:30 it starts, so a bit different to the States. We're a bit odd. We start at the half-hour mark usually.
Yeah, because I have tons, obviously you would know that, tons of Survivor fans that listen to my podcast, also Big Brother fans, and most of my fans are aching for Survivor. They just need it in their life, and it's starting. It's starting in Australia Sunday. So
it's really exciting because we're still like a month and a half away from your season in the States. So to have something to fill the void during Big Brother before US Survivor, I think it's a good little spot to start.
Yeah, and the good thing about it is, which I respect about it, is about you guys and the Australian version of it, is the way you do it is like we do it. They, the challenges look great. Everything looks great. The scenery looks great. It's, it looks good and it looks hard. And I like the fact that, it is, I see your host, what's his name? The host?
Jonathan LaPaglia.
Yeah, he said that it's one of the hardest games in the world. And I do agree. Survivor is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. And it is one of the hardest games in the world. And, y'all portray the same thing. So it's real. I don't like these shows that's fake. And then, people wondering. When you go out there and you lose 30, 40 pounds and you get beauty queens eating bugs and this and that, then it's real. So, I appreciate if other countries do it, they got to do it right. And I see that in Australian Survivor that they're doing it right. You think y'all hoping for an excellent season, I'm sure. Do you have any favorites coming into this season?
I think on paper there are a few that stand out to me that I'm excited about as a fan. So Annalise is a big fan of the show. She's young. I think she's about 23. She's a student coming to the game. But again, she's someone who's been watching the show for a very long time, loves the gameplay. So I'm excited to see someone like her get that opportunity to play the game. And then, we have a few people who we've had in the commercials so far. Luke is someone who's been heavily promoted. He's got his hat backwards, his black hat on, and he's a bit of the Joker, which is really fun. It's funny to talk about the game as well, Russell, and how they're doing it right. It is filmed in Samoa, where obviously you've played a couple of times, and the beaches as well. So the Isaga beach, I believe, is the old Galoo beach. So it's so interesting that we have our version go and play where you guys have played before.
Right, and I'm still the king of Samoa. I wonder if anybody's going to take that crown from me. I go there, and they literally bow to me there. I am the king of Samoa. That's just it, man. There's no other. You have to agree on that, though.
Again, I am here talking to a Survivor legend, Russell. So I have to say, look, it is funny. I spoke to someone who was on one of the tribes during the game, and I said, well, you're on this beach. Did you go find the bridge that Russell went under? And he said, so apparently, Russell, here's some insight that we probably won't see in the show. The bridge was just in the cutoff of their zone. So they were zoned in. They told, don't go any further. But this person still went, had a look under the bridge anyway, just so they could see and do what you did. And there was nothing under there, but I'm glad that the person told me they went and looked anyway. Yeah,
that's cool. And for a Survivor fan, super fan, if I see it, it's no big deal to me, or if somebody that's played the game on this side. But I can see how that would be quite a monumental deal, because when my brother went, we talked about earlier of him going and doing a family visit. When he did the family visit, he said production brought him to the side in Samoa, and they brought him to the tree. That the first idol ever in the history of all survivors with all countries was found without a clue. And he was like, you go ahead, put your hand in there. Put your hand in there, man. It's just like your brother did. So Sean was like, I put my hand in there, and I was just feeling around, and well, that's kind of weird. but when you're a huge fan of the show, I can see how that would be a big deal. I mean,
yeah, it's a huge deal.
I think it's a big deal for things. When I see other players, I love the game. I watch Big Brother. I like this season. I don't know if you're watching it, but that's another podcast. But yeah, I love Survivor, and when they have great players, I respect the great players. People, they know that I don't like a few in the game, but this doesn't mean I don't like them on the street. I get along with Sandra outside the game. We did charity events together. Doesn't mean I don't like the girl as a person. I don't like her as a player, and that's it. So, people don't get that. There's gameplay and there's real play. And, enough talk about me. Let's talk about some of the people on your season here. I'm looking up right now. That's why I'm stalling. I'm looking through the list right now. And they had this one girl that I went across that I liked immediately. And as soon as, my girlfriend was passing through the list, and she seen her, and she say, oh, she's not a typical Survivor player, but as soon as I seen it, I read her name was Joan?
Joan, yeah. So Joan is 29. She's from New South Wales. And the thing I like about Joan as well, her background is in puzzle making. I'm sure you might have, Russell. But, so she makes these adventure rooms that a lot of people are doing these days. That's her job. So I agree with you. When I looked on paper as well, I saw Joan, I was like, wow, she's not typical of what we would see on a US season or even Australian season normally. But I'm excited for someone who has this background in making puzzles. You'd think that she would be pretty good at doing puzzles. I don't know, but I'm excited to see her play. It's
totally different. You have these MIT students and these Oxford grads, Stanford abroad, and all this stuff. It's like, and then all of a sudden, they got a puzzle they got to do. And it's like they just lose control and can't think straight. Like, for instance, my first season in Samoa. I'm like, I have all these doctors and lawyers, and nobody can do a puzzle. I'm all doing all the physical part of it. So just because she's a puzzle maker doesn't mean she's going to be able to do it in that kind of stressful environment. It's different out there, and everything changes. You get these people, and I was reading on one of them on here. Let me hurry up and get to his name. Let's see, where is he? He had a tattoo on his leg. Where is he? Oh, yeah, okay. What is that, Lockie?
Lockie, yeah. So Lockie's interesting as well. He's the way Lockie's been described to me is that he's almost like an Aussie type of player. Physical, loves the outdoors. I think half the year Lockie goes adventuring in Europe and does like cliff diving and all that kind of different kind of stuff. And the other half of the year he's just a roof tiler in Perth. So
well, when I was reading about Lockie, it said something like, I'm paraphrasing, of course, but it said something like, I'm true to my friends and this and that. I'm a good guy, but if I have to stab someone in the back, I will. You know what that shows me? That he's not. When you're in that environment, you're easily swayed. You watch these shows and you're sitting on your couch and you're saying, why are they not doing this? And why are they doing it this way? And why are they doing it this way? That's because you have somebody really good playing the game that's convincing you to do it that way. And and then you're a good guy. So you're kind of like, you believe them. By nature, we want to believe people.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. So who on this cast is standing out to you then? You talked about Joe.
Tell you,
who are these people, Russ?
Well, I'm going to say the obvious thing, and I'm sure you're going to say it right off. It's what you look at and what you say, you know what, that guy looks kind of cool. I'm going to go ahead and go for him, and that's Mark H.
You like Mark? So Mark is interesting to me as well. We've been talking about it within our own community. He gives us very Rupert vibes, and
he does.
You played with Rupert,
yes.
So like, can you see the parallels between a Rupert and a Mark on our season?
I don't know, because you see, I know Rupert personally in the game. Like, I know him, and I don't want to talk about people's character flaws and stuff like that. But it's when it seems like they're a hero and it seems like they're just such a great guy, sometimes they're not. And this guy seems like that. He seems like a hero type that's a great guy. So I'm hoping that he's a hero type that stabs you in the back, kind of like I was.
I completely get what you're saying. So we've had adverts out on TV here in Australia, and in the adverts, he's been someone who's been focused on quite a bit, and he does talk about how I want to play a heroic but also a villainous game. And if I have to, what's he talk about? He's a lime farmer, and limes have pricks, and he's used to working with a lot of pricks. So he's willing to. He's willing. I think he has that nasty side in him as well.
I mean, do you think that he's going to be like Rupert? Do you think he's going to be that Rupert style? I mean, as popular as he was. That Rupert style,
but he's definitely, when you look on paper, he physically looks different to a lot of people. So I could see people naturally liking him in terms of, he's a different type of look to him. But I think it really will come into the first episode. There is a reason he's being heavily promoted, though, in Australia. So he would be one I would definitely keep an eye on.
Oh, yeah. And in the American world of Survivor, we have a certain type and groups of people. You can name, I want you to, off your head, not including me, name 5 of the top players here in America. Right off your head, what's the top 5? Not including me.
Not including yourself. Parvati.
Okay.
Would be very high on that list.
Right.
I know you have contention, but Boston Rob would be someone who would be very high.
Right.
Who else are we looking at? In terms of, are you talking about the best players, or are you talking about characters?
Because I'm talking about and I'm talking about characters, best players, kind of legendary status. And the reason I'm getting into this is because it doesn't, even in Australia, it's a lot smaller, of course, than the U.S.
Yeah.
But you're going to have players like that. They're going to be players in the Australian community of Survivor that's going to roll off your tongue like that. And who from the first season would you put in the same category? It doesn't have to be as big or, I'm not saying this guy's going to be the next Rupert. I'm just saying that category. Who would you put from your first season that you're going to talk about 10 years from now? That if it keeps it going.
So it's such a small sample size. We've got one season. I don't think anyone is in that legendary status. I think in terms of like an all-star returnee season based on season one, someone like Phoebe Timmons would be a huge one to come back. She was highly popular, went out pre-merge, just on the bubble before the merge, got unlucky with some production twists, played idols, played well. I think Flick is also a big one. She made a move, was well liked within the game, also a bit villainous, was part of a Mean Girl alliance. So probably those two especially. I think Nikai Danza as well. Again, as a character, not a game player, and I've spoken to Nick a lot about this as well. As a character, he was great in confessionals. I know you watched the season as well, Russell. Like who stood out to you?
You just said the two that I would have said. You said the two that I would have said for sure. You know, both of those girls are pretty amazing. And, I mean, weren't they idols found without clues, you know?
Yeah, Phoebe definitely found an idol without a clue. She was just watching one of the players, Craig, who had the clue, just watching him wander around and figured that he was looking for an idol and just went to the spot one morning and found it. So... Right. And then spent the rest of the day tanning on the beach while he was still looking at the mangroves.
Yeah. So we're gonna do this a little bit differently. I'm gonna call you out, man. I'm gonna call you out, and we need to know who's going first. And I'm gonna tell you who I think's going first right off the bat. I think it's Sarah. Poor Sarah.
Sarah.
Yep.
Why do you think Sarah? Because she's the model.
Well, I think she's gonna be weak in challenges. And I think that she's going to be the one that you have to drag along through the challenge. And at first, especially in more even in Australian Survivor than American Survivor, winning is most important because it's even longer. You have an even longer stretch. So the number one thing that you need is to make that tribe strong so you can keep winning through the game and get to the end of it. And it's way more with your Survivor than our Survivor. So I think they're going to immediately target the weak. And I just have a feeling that she's going to be weak. And yes, you're right. It's because she's the model, she's little, and she's the model. Yep, that's why.
So I myself, like when I'm looking at the cast, I've done my own power rankings and things like that, but I don't know much about Kate on this cast, and she's an older woman. She's almost 50, I believe, comes from an executive background. But there's nothing that stands out, honestly, Russell, in all the information we've got about her. She just talks about being honourable, wanting to play for her daughters, play for her kids. Like, that's just, you got to play for yourself. You got to go there and play hard. Like,
you're right, man. I'm looking at her now.
And she has nothing on paper to me. I don't even know why she was cast. I wrote on my blog that her description reads like a nice friend reading a eulogy at her funeral. It's just so boring. So I don't know about her at all.
Well, I didn't see her. I'm going to have to go ahead and say that I'm going to have to take that back, man. You might be right. Because if she's saying, I didn't read that about her, and if she's saying I'm doing it for my kids, and what she's going to need for me to be right on the first one, which I'm probably not, is she's going to have to, her tribe's going to have to win for her to be safe.
Oh yeah, definitely. She's going to need.
Yeah, man, that's
that.
That's
she
an
can
easy
avoid
one, though,
swap
man.
or something.
That's an easy pick. I didn't go for that easy pick though. I went right out the box. You know what I mean?
We just got for whoever.
You gotta say Sarah's coming out the box because she's cute. She's gonna have other guys that likes her. So I'm really going out there with her. You went with the easy one.
Russell, I find this fascinating though because you're the guy who goes out there talks about making your dumb girl alliance. Like,
right. No, I would align with her. No, if I was playing, she'd win the game. Yeah, she got that in the bag if I was playing.
Yeah.
But I'm not, so she's going first.
Okay.
So let's see. We got you know who else I like? I like Kent.
Kent, yeah. So Kent's actually from my hometown of Adelaide. He's a guy in his 50s and he's like, I'll look at it just like face value, but he's as fit as. Apparently he swam the English Channel last year, which was 13 hours. Like, this is a guy who I don't think will be cast as the same brush. He does work he's not a politician, but he works with politicians.
Yeah, he's a
and
chief
from everything-
financial officer.
Chief financial officer, and apparently he likes to be the boss, and
man,
it's
that's
pretty
not good.
direct. So
See,
I
maybe
don't know how
need
that's going to go for him.
Maybe I need to read these guys, before I start saying I like them.
That's what I mean, Russ.
I need to
That's
read a
what I
little
mean.
bit about them. I'm going over it right here, man. I'm trying to find out. I'm going by looks and looks alone.
Yeah.
So no, but yeah, chief financial officer. I would get rid of him first because I don't like them guys. But
No,
he just has the look. If he would keep his mouth shut, and that's the thing about Survivor. If you keep your mouth shut and you say you're a kindergarten teacher instead of a chief financial officer, then you could go further in the game. So do you think that he's going to say what he is? He's I'm kind of shocked on how he's dressed.
Yeah, I don't know what his initial impression will be. I think that he's going to be pretty straightforward about how and what he does in his real life. When we're talking about people who are going into the game wanting to lie about what they do, if you can look up Henry is also from my hometown of Adelaide. He's coming into the game. His whole strategy is to pretend that he is a yoga instructor. He doesn't do yoga. He's never done yoga.
Yes.
But he wants to go in with a perception that people don't see him as a threat because he's
Jared
calm,
looks like the
loving
yoga
nature.
instructor.
Jared does.
He's
look
the
like
yoga
he does.
instructor.
Yeah,
It's Henry you're talking about, the yoga instructor?
Henry. Yeah.
Oh, he's so playing it the way he's dressed. He's so dude. This dude's already playing the game.
Yeah, and apparently he went through the whole casting process, told them that he's going to be a yoga instructor, and then it's like, yep, I've never done yoga in my life. So,
he's so playing. He looks like he is, that thing.
yeah,
He looks like somebody that could just get in a circle with him and, cross your legs and watch the stars and talk about all the beauty in the earth and the trees and the green grass.
Well, that's his goal. That's his goal, Russell.
But that's what he looks like. He's doing it. He's working it, man.
Yeah.
But hey,
he's doing a good job.
he go out there in his flip flops. He's gonna be in trouble though, so it might bite him in the butt. But so yeah, Jared looks like the yoga instructor. But look, now
Jared.
Now I'm reading it.
Jared is huge.
Yeah,
this is a guy who's physically quite small, but he has a huge social media following. He's got like over 200,000 Instagram followers. He's a pretty well known guy for what he does. So I'm interested to see how he goes as well.
And how many plumbers? Y'all got a plumber on there? Yep. And how many
We do have a
photographers?
plumber on there.
How many photographers you got, man? I mean, what do y'all do in Australia? You just take pictures of everything?
Russell, have you not been to Australia? It's a beautiful country. We got to take photos of
I
everything.
guess you're right. I guess that's a good career over there. You know who I like? You know who I like now that I'm looking at their career? I'm looking at because I like looking at people. We did a whole thing on the Big Brother, and I'm gonna do it on the next Survivor cast that we get. We look at their picture and we don't read nothing. We just we try to analyze what we see. And now that I'm reading what they do and looking at the pictures, I like Jericho because you know what flight attendants do? They're real good at their social game because you got all these babies crying and you got everybody screaming and hollering at you, and your job is to be nice, smile, and give them their Coke. Right?
I don't think I could be that nice all day. So he would definitely have to have a pretty thick skin and a strong resilience to put up with bullshit pretty much all day, I think.
Because, I know we're not talking Big Brother, but a lot of our listeners watch Big Brother, and I said that Kevin would win the game because I looked at him and I looked at what he did. And when it said he was a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad / mom for, 8 girls or whatever it was, I was like, oh, he's already used to crying babies. He's used to a bunch of whining girls. He is going to go far in that game because he's in the Big Brother house in his own house. So I said that he would go far in the game. We don't know that yet, but that's what I see with Jericho. I like people that when they have social games, in their career that has to show that they have social games, most of the times they do well.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. You've played, Russell, so you know how big the social aspect of this game is. You can't progress, you can't form alliances if you
Yeah.
don't have good social game. Like, you can do all the strategy. And this is the thing about that I've spoken about you quite a lot when we chat in our community and things like that. I think your social game was underrated because you need a social game to be able to get alliances, to form
Right.
relationships, and to build and put yourself in positions. So it's so vital in the game.
Right. And it's so weird how you can look at someone and then you think one thing, like I liked Kent. And then when I looked and see what he did, I no longer like Kent. And that, you know why? Because I put it in perspective now. I put walking into that bank with that businessman that's turning down loans to poor families that need food on their table. So I put it in that kind of perspective, and I'm like, you know what, Kent, you're an asshole, Kent. And I hope you go home first. So, because I want that family to have food on their table. So Kent is, and you know what else? Just like that guy. I don't know if you remember that guy that was the Miami GM for the Miami baseball team. What was his name?
Samson from Cagayan.
Right. Just
First
like
out.
his job is to delegate multi-millionaire kids running around and tell them when they're fired and tell them when they ain't good enough and to go to another team. This huge man walking in, in your office, and you say, "Hey, buddy, get out, pack your stuff. You're not good enough. Go home." Like that kind of personality that can do that can never play and do well on Survivor because they're in control too much. You have to be able to sit back and let go. You have to let control take you sometimes. And I know it sounds crazy coming from me, but not once did you see me hollering and screaming at people because, and you by knowing my personality now, I'm the kind of guy that probably would holler and scream at people, but I didn't. I sat back. Yeah. I sat back and I took it. Laura screamed and hollered at me. I took it. Monica screamed and hollered at me. I took it. Rupert, I wanted to get up and slap the dude, but I didn't. I stayed sitting down. And, I said it on my piece in my monotone voice, and that was it. So these kind of people can't handle it. The chief financial officer. Now, you see, I'm going to have millions of people that listen to my show say, the millions of people that listen to my show, they're going to say, I don't like that guy, Kent. Now nobody likes Kent because he's the one. Oh. He is the one that turns down your loans, people.
So already Kent, everyone hates him now, apparently.
Yeah, so Kent's in trouble.
It's funny that you mention Laura Moret because I look at this cast and I do see someone who reminds me of Laura a lot. And like you've played Laura, so you let me know if this is wrong. But Laura to me is someone who really liked to engage with the younger people in her tribe.
Yeah, Jared reminds me of Laura.
He looks just I'm not talking about Jared. I'm talking about Jack. I'm talking about Jackie. So I'm talking about Jackie because she's someone who I think is physical, but she also likes to engage with younger people or everything else. So she's someone who likes to stay in with the girls, go do yoga with the girls. She wants to make those relationships with that kind of a clique. And I think that she could have a Laura-esque game.
Yeah, Jackie and Henry can be perfect because you be doing yoga with them.
The people doing yoga on the beach.
The fake yoga teacher. That's going to be fun to watch. I'm kind of looking forward to Henry. Usually I don't like the alpha male style. Yeah. I don't like that. I don't like the gameplay of it. I don't like that bro love. Let's go to the end bro love type play. I don't like it. But you got Henry here that's an alpha male, and he's fooling me. Like he looks like he's just gonna, sit by some trees and just have some tea. I mean, he's going to be doing Coach Chi on the beach. I don't think he's going to be doing real yoga. He's going to have to be straight from the Dragon Slayer's playbook. Yeah, I wonder if he's actually learning yoga before he goes. So he's got to learn some moves, man.
Yeah, they said in an article I read that he spent the last 4 weeks before he went out. So obviously he must have had about 4 weeks before he knew that he was practicing yoga. So I think physically he's quite a big lad as well. Man. So I think he'll be fine.
This guy's playing the game already. I'm going to go out because I do it all the time. Most of the time I'm wrong, but I'm saying Henry's winning the game. Yep.
Henry. I can't. It's hard to dispute Russell. I like Henry. I think he's on paper is one of the best ones out there.
Yeah, because he is doing what it takes already to win this game, and he knows it takes social, sweet, nice. But he's obviously a physical player because he wants to dumb it down with yoga. Not saying that yoga is dumb. Not saying that you guys that do it a week, so that I don't need to get the emails or the tweets. So, but you see what I'm saying? He's an alpha male that's saying, "Oh no, I'm just soft and cuddly. I'm a yoga teacher," and he is dressing like one.
He is. He's gotten the whole kit. He wants everyone to believe that he is a yoga instructor. That's his whole goal.
Oh, that's genius. That's genius. I like Joan though. I like Joan.
Yeah, I like Joan as well. I hope she can do.
I hope she does well.
My big thing about Joan is, again, kind of like we talked about before, that she's one of these people who I feel, if it's a physical game, the Australian Survivor, 55 days, and you need the physically strong early, I don't know how strong she is. I don't know how physically well she's going to go in some of the challenges. So that's going to be her big challenge. She needs to kind of like Sari in this past season of Game Changers. Like if Sari goes to a tribal council pre-merge, she's out.
Right.
And she makes the merge without going to any tribal councils. And that's what puts her in a good position to go far in the game. I think Joan's similar. She needs a bit of luck on her side.
Well, you know what? She is not the typical Survivor player. And because of that, I think she's going to be very liked. Because you have hundreds of thousands or maybe millions of people out there that want to play something like Survivor or Big Brother or anything just to have fun and go experience something great in their life. And they get turned down constantly year after year after year because they're not typical. I wasn't typical. I wasn't a typical Survivor look, and I know I wasn't. And then you have somebody like her that's not the typical look that they look for, and which is wrong, but so hopefully she can do good in the game. I'm rooting for her. I hope she goes far.
Yeah, definitely. I'm the same boat. Hope she does really well. I guess like this is 55 days, Russell. Like you've played before twice back to back and gone 39 days back to back. Like how hard is this actually going to physically be for these people to make it this far in the game?
Man, it is the toughest. Hey, I'm doing an interview here, pal. But okay.
This is all had this comes out.
Yeah, that's good though. No, but it's really the toughest thing I've ever done, man. And the way what is it? 50 what days?
55
That's insane.
days.
55 days. That's insane. Like, man, I hope that nobody dies because you get to that kind of caliber and that long, you're dealing with some stressful situation for production because you're getting people that's not eating right, that's not for longer periods of time, that's even more unhealthy. They told Natalie White that if another 2 weeks she would die, like literally told her that. I was with her when it was told to her. She came out the doctor's room crying. She was like, they said that my body was going to shut down. So if she was Australian Survivor, there'd be no more Natalie White.
I don't know how you feel about that, Russell. That's what you need.
Then I would have won by default.
It is a physically demanding game, and we talked about it a little bit. And you've been in Samoa, and when they've had storms, I have heard, and it's been leaked to the
it's
this
brutal.
week as well. Yeah, so brutal. This first week, so we got 3 episodes during the first week, and apparently, maybe not the first episode, but definitely maybe the second and third, we're going to see some storms like we haven't seen before, and players are going to be in for a big reality check.
That's hard for me to believe because I've seen storms that I haven't seen in my life that I've seen over there. So it's like, What is this? Is this rainy season? I remember Jeff feeling sorry for us. I remember walking to one challenge, and I was the tough guy, right? I was the one that I was made for that. I was the one that you're supposed to, you can't see pain on my face. Yeah. You can't see me shiver and shake. I was the tough guy, and I wanted to portray that. But man, I couldn't stop from shaking. I couldn't stop my body from shaking, and I was trying, trust me. And when I was walking to this challenge, blood was dripping down my leg because I was so chapped.
Because
I was
crazy.
I couldn't, and I was trying to be tough, so I would walk straight instead of walking like a little duck wobbling over there. You know, I sure didn't want the camera to see me, Russell Hantz, wobbling like a duck to the challenge. So I'm walking straight while it's bleeding.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like I've heard, and it's been speculated, like hypothermic levels, some of these players are going to need medical assistance to be intervened. It's that bad. And I'm envisaging, and you talk about that as well, like my lasting memory of Samoa, your season, is someone like Jason with his hands, and they show the close-up, and it's just, he looks absolutely destroyed.
That was all of us, but you was able to see it easier because he was black. So, but that was all of us, man. The skin was coming off of our hands. So with Jason, he had white. He didn't have white hands. He had like pearly white hands. It was like coming off of his hands, and that's, you know. I remember poor Shambo. She woke up in a puddle of water. I was like, Shambo, how did you sleep in that water? You just slept in a puddle of water.
She slept in the tree, didn't she, Russell? That's been a while since I've seen some season.
This is when we stole her or whatever it was at that time. She came to our camp, and we all had her stuff in the shelter, so she was right outside the shelter. I don't know why we didn't, there was no room. We all scooting. I don't know why we didn't help her out more, but she slept, just right outside in like a little. She digs a little ditch and puts like sleeves in it, and I'm fine doing this, and then she wakes up and it's halfway to her body, like the puddle, full of water, like sleeping in a puddle of water, literally. I was like, Shambo, that has to be unhealthy.
Yeah, that can't be good. I love Shambo though. Just off the Shambo was one of my favorites of that season. I'm still devastated as a character. We haven't seen her come back.
Right. And I don't know if we ever will. But so
I don't think
back in high school, man, we had this terrible guy that we knew, and he murdered someone. Okay, and he looks just like Luke.
So are we saying that Luke is the murderer of this season? We've got to watch you back around him.
Right. That's just. I'm not talking. This is hypothetical, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
So Luke. Looks like some sort of not like a serial killer look.
Yeah,
that would be more like where is he at? Where's their serial killer look? Here's our serial killer look. I got to be Ben. He's the youngest serial killer in the world.
Ben. So
tell me a little bit about Ben, man.
Yeah. So Ben is 20 years old.
Oh, I like Ben. He's a fast food attendant.
Fast food attendant. Apparently, he's worked at Macca's for a couple of years.
What's Macca's?
Sorry, I should say that Macca's is McDonald's. That's an Australian saying for McDonald's.
Are you serious?
So
So y'all say Macca's? Do you seriously say Macca's?
Yeah, that's what we call it. Even the signs, they're not always saying McDonald's. Sometimes they say Macca's.
Are you serious? They call
I'm serious.
McDonald's Macca's. That's what McDonald's is, Macca's. Yeah. Yeah, we can't believe that.
This is Australian Survivor education here.
It's McDonald's, man. It's McDonald's. Call it McDonald's.
So I head down to the Macca's, and he's just come straight off the grill from cooking the fries, and he's headed straight out to play the game. And the thing about Ben I like, his profile is not typical of a survivor. He's talking about how he wants to improve his Tinder game. He can't flirt with girls, and he's hoping that this experience will help him with the ladies.
Man, I know they got. I mean, somebody had to buy the boy some shoes. I mean, nobody even bought him any brand new shoes to play in a game to win $1 million. Come on, mom and dad, buy the boy some shoes. Yeah, he went with his Macca's shoes. But hey, he could be a millionaire after this. I like people like that because, that's what literally keeps this world going, man. People like him. Seriously.
Exactly. Exactly. So, and he's only young as well. He's only 20, so I'm sure he'll move on from there eventually.
Well, that's why I like Ben, and I don't like who I don't like. What's his name again? The loan officer. I'm making careers for him now.
I'm not even sure. I'm not sure we have a loan officer in
Yeah,
here.
the financial guy that rips people off on the
Kent.
daily.
Kent. Yeah, Kent.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't like Kent apparently.
We don't like Kent. Did you talk to Kent yet?
I have spoken to Kent. Yeah.
So tell me tell me the feeling you got from Kent. Did it seem like that how come you got to talk to these people and I didn't? What's up with that?
I don't know. I haven't spoken to him officially.
You have to give me your connections, man.
Just in Australia. Kent was a good bloke. He offered to buy me lunch, so nice guy. I don't know how he went, to be honest. I haven't talked to him too much about the game, but I think he just said it was brutal. So hard conditions.
So you're saying after the fact? I don't want to talk after the fact. I thought I'm thinking pre-game before he went out there, kind of like they do with interviews. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to. I don't want to hear after.
Didn't get to do that.
Yeah. We don't do spoilers.
No, we don't do spoilers, and I don't know spoilers. So
right. So Ziggy, tell me a little bit about her. What you know about Ziggy? She looks bubbly.
So Ziggy is an Olympic athlete. She's a medalist. She won I think a bronze medal in water polo.
I'm glad I didn't say. I don't like Ziggy because she's going to be terrible in challenges.
So she's going to be very good in challenges, especially the water. So she's someone who I think a lot of her bio has been about playing a social game, building relationships. So I think she'll be more the hero than the villain.
Yeah. I think she's going to be she's going to stay a long time because of the her challenge ability. You know what I mean? Because
I agree.
She's going to help the team. They're going to keep her. Yep, and she ain't going to be a threat. She's going to move right along. And you know what Ben's missing? Because I seen it down here. Ben's missing a Macca's hat. He should have a Macca's hat because Tessa has some hat. What does that hat say?
It's a Harry Potter hat. Tessa has Hogwarts.
Hogwarts. So she's a
Harry Potter fan,
and she's a doctor. So she's full of them.
She's a doctor.
So you're telling me what's she doing here?
I don't. So I feel like she could be our Sophie Clark of the season, someone who is intelligent, socially probably okay, maybe not great, but I don't see Tessa going early. I think she's physically, she comes across as quite strong. I like what Tessa's selling in terms of just as a player who's going to make it far. Maybe not the greatest character that we'll see. Probably won't see a lot of major confessionals from her, but I think she's one of these players like a Sophie who could go quite far.
Right. And is she playing that up, or is she a Harry Potter fan, or is she playing that up because she's a doctor?
I'm not sure. We haven't seen anything in the preseason stuff so far that's indicating whether she's a massive Harry Potter fan. It's really just the hat that we've seen. So, I'm not sure how she's playing it right now.
All right, man. We got this girl here. I'm gonna have to say something about you Aussies. Like when you play a show, you future Aussie people, when you play a show for $1 million, get some new shoes because that's the most important thing you're gonna have. You need them tight. You need them tight on your feet. You need good shoestrings, and you need them new, preferably Nikes. They don't pay me for endorsements, by the way, but that'd be nice. But
not yet, anyway.
So I'm looking at Tara, and I see her shoes. Man, I want you to go back and look at these people's shoes.
I feel like I missed out on.
Yeah, you missed out on the whole shoe thing. Because look, man, seriously, think about it for a second. You know, you're playing a game for $1 million. You don't want your soles of your shoes that you've been having for 5 years to go to at that point in time to fly off your shoe. See what I'm saying?
So Russell, here's something I'll tell you that I learned from last year about Australian Survivor is that they have their day one outfits that they wear when they're marooned this year, so they're getting marooned and they're going to have their day one outfits. Okay. And apparently, when they have their first reward challenge, they all get new shoes, so they get their proper like sneakers and things like that. So I think that's why they're wearing a bit like more.
Well, not all of them.
Straight off the plane. Yes, some of them aren't. But that's what I was told last year.
So when I'm looking at these pictures here, I know you don't know what I'm looking. Yeah, you know what I'm looking at because you see the Hogwarts stuff. Is this how they looked when they got off that plane?
I believe that's what they're going to be wearing on day one.
Okay, all right, because that shows a lot. It shows a tremendous amount for people like what's his name, Henry.
Yeah,
And look how he's standing, man. He must have read a book on this.
he's very confident. He's
standing like he's a healer of sorts, right?
He would definitely be a healer on the healer drive for sure.
Right. So we got Aaron. I think I like Aaron, man.
Yeah. So Aaron is
He
from
doesn't look like
my
a
town
wedding
again.
DJ. Wedding DJ, Aaron.
No. Yeah, he's going by the name of AK on the island, and he's a fan of the show. He's a big fan of Survivor, big fan of Big Brother. He's a reality TV devotee. So I think that, again, we know these things in theory. Theoretically, we know how to make moves, but unless you get out there, something that I liked about AK that I read, Aaron, was that his strategy going into the game was to just eat. And eat and eat and eat.
Yeah,
because it's 55 days.
Yeah, go
and
ahead.
He doesn't care what he looks like on TV. He just wanted to put
Go ahead,
on the
buddy.
pounds.
Go ahead, buddy. Just eat. Go ahead and keep eating. Like, what shows he think he's playing? There's not a smorgasbord of food out there. Trust me, he ain't gonna have nothing to eat.
Yeah. So that was his pre-game, just to put on some weight so that he would have a reserve to lose.
I thought you meant that when he gets out there. When I get out there, all I'm gonna do is eat.
No, pre-game.
Okay, that's why I was like, what? Yeah, eat as much as you want when you're playing the game. You ain't gonna find much to eat.
just
eat as many rats as I can.
What's out there, Russell? You've been to these beaches. What's out there on?
They don't have as many rats as you want. They'll have a couple because obviously Natalie killed a rat, but they have wild chickens, and they have lots of coconuts. And coconuts, trust me, they become your best friend out there because there's plenty of coconuts. You can find coconuts everywhere, and there's bananas. If you go, I could tell them. If you put one on three-way right now, I could tell them exactly what to hike up that mountain to find a whole forest full of banana trees. They didn't show that part. They didn't show that part on my season. And you know what? I know they're playing approximately the same place we played because they built roads. Like that's why they go to Samoa a lot because Mark Burnett in production, SEG built roads for the Samoa people and to get to where they needed to get to. So they're using those roads and they're in the same exact places. So it's gonna be fun to watch to see exactly where they are.
Yeah, I think it's smart by the Australian Survivor production team to go to a location that's been established by you guys in the States because it saves on budgets, it saves on some basic things just to get all set up, and they know that it works.
Yeah, so. And the thing is, I want Australian Survivor to have the second and the third and the fourth and fifth. I wanted to go on and be successful. So for them to do that, because it's not as big as, obviously the countries are completely different sizes, and you need more money, you need a little bit of help when it comes to finding the place, and the place is already ready for you. They got the roads there. That's why they will be in the exact same spots as we were.
Yeah. 100%. So even that first challenge, Russell, that you did in Samoa, the one where Jason swims out into the water, that is actually where they have, I believe it's the Summertown Beach is there. So, they're using all those locations.
Wow. Well, yeah, that wasn't our beach, but. So we have Adam, man. You know what? I do not like poker players in that game. They all think that they're smart and they know better, more than others, and they always go early.
Yeah, Adam is someone who talks a big game.
Yeah, see what I mean?
He's come out in the newspaper and they've had articles talking about how he's taken notes on Survivor, watched every season, is a fan of the show. So I agree. I get John Robert vibes from him. He's a tall bloke as well. I think he's like 6'5", 6'6".
For sure, John.
So I get that feeling where he could, at best, maybe he makes it like to the merge, but I can't see him winning. Like I think he's going to blow up his spot at some point.
Yeah. Do you like Amy, the plumber? Do you believe that she's really a plumber?
So she is a plumber, yes, which is crazy.
Right.
Her story is apparently, Russell, that she studied to be a beautician, but after 2 years of painting nails, she realized she couldn't paint nails very well, so became a plumber. And when you hear Amy speak, I know it takes time to get used to the Australian accent it is, but she is
I love
as
it.
Australian. She is as Australian traditional. We call them ochre, which is a word that I guess is like just like a genuine, authentic Australian, and she's that all wrapped into one. I think she's going to be a great character on our TV screens.
Oh, really? That's good. So she's 100% Australian.
100% genuine, authentic Australian. I think people are really going to like her.
Oh, that's good. So what do you think about Annalise?
Annalise, I like Annalise. So she's a big fan of the show. Watches again one of these theoretical people, but I just think that she's going to have to make sure that she can use her social game early on. Make sure she's in a good position because she's not offensive at all. I don't know how physically strong she'll be, and like we were talking before, is she going to be crucial in the challenges? If she's not helping and doing well, then she might be an easy early boot. But if she can make it through a certain period of the game, I think she can go quite far.
Is the Annalise the one that says is a fan of mine?
She is a fan of yours,
There you
Russell.
go, man.
So
she's going all the way.
That's all you need.
All she needs now is actually having me in the game. You know what I've
So-
always thought that they should do? And I know production might be hearing this, so guys, next season, all you got to do is fly me down in a little box, put me in a box, and then and you either get this box or this box, and or you get some challenge, or you have to do a challenge or whatever. And then all of a sudden they say, "Oh, I choose the box number 2," and it pops open, and Russell Hands pops out, and I help you find idols.
So you want to be kind of like,
Right?
We saw John Cochran this season. Give
Oh, no.
help but you want to be like an idol helper. You want to help them like.
Yeah, I would actually be
gets you for
a
a day.
reward.
Yeah.
You see?
Well, Channel 10, if they're, Endemol Shine, the production company, if they're listening, Russell's already volunteered, just going to pay for his plane ticket and,
Yeah,
who knows?
I'd be the reward, and then you can like get me a separate tent with like Sarah or something,
Yeah.
And then we can search for idols all night long.
Yeah. And especially if it's in Samoa again, because you know the island so well, so you know the
Dude,
spots.
if I was back on that island, I'm telling you, I would have it in the bag. Because they have an area that grows wild cucumbers, guys, and it's just right off of a trail too. But there's no way they'll find it because I don't know how we found it, but it took 2 seasons to find it and a bunch of all-stars, maybe some of the best players to ever play the game in Heroes versus Villains before we found that thing. But because we were there the whole time in season 19 and we didn't find nothing. So, but they have a bunch of and if you don't like cucumbers, you'll love them after you starve them for about 3 or 4 days. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
So we got 2 more here. Well, we got a few more. Michelle, what do you think about her?
So Michelle is a nanny from New South Wales from Sydney. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to make of Michelle. She just doesn't. She's not someone who's popped to me. She just seems a bit bland from what I've seen so far. So she's pretty. She's attractive, but there's nothing that stands out hugely for me. I don't know. What do you think about her?
Well, the good thing about people like that, nannies and stuff like that, they're able to take orders and to do a good job because it's hard to be a nanny, man. You can't just be a nanny and think that you got an easy job because that may be one of the hardest jobs in the world, depending on how many babies she nannies. So
and they're not her kids, so they're someone else's kids. So that's a big responsibility.
And then she has to love their kids, and she don't. So she has to play her social game on these people's kids that she probably don't even like. But so we have Mark W, man. You know what's going to happen to Mark W? He is a former special ops commander. He sounds like we're doing some kind of recon mission here. And he looks like it too. And if he goes out there and he starts saying all this crap that he's learned in the military and he's going to recon this and that. And, the next special agent, Philip Shepard, it's not going to work out. It's just not.
I don't think he's going to be wearing pink underwear on the island. But, Mark, I don't know. So last year, Russell, we had this big thing about Australian survivors talking about the word mateship. And that's just effectively loyalty, people who wanted to be loyal to the end. And Mark strikes me as one of those type of guys who would be a very loyal, honest person and wouldn't necessarily make the moves to put himself in a good position. I do wonder if there's going to be a correction in Australian Survivor and players might play a bit harder this year and try and get out some of those loyal people. But yeah, he's physically strong as well, so I don't see him going early. But yeah, I wouldn't want to see him go too far because if he makes the end, and if our cast.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead and mark that down on your little paper right in front of you there. Russell Hant says Mark will not make it to the merge. You know
he
why?
Got big red line for his name. Why not?
Because PETA hates him because he's got snakeskin boots on. And he's gonna be killing animals out there, gutting them, making like hats and stuff, and that just ain't right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
PETA, I'm with you on this one. Except for chickens, they're delicious.
You have to eat the chickens.
Right. You got to eat the chickens. Okay. We have Odette. Is that her name? Odette?
Yeah, Odette. Yes. So Odette.
I don't know, man. She looks a little spunky.
Yeah, she's spunky, all right, and she's a podiatrist from Sydney. Really intelligent. Her backstory is about how she had a child quite young, and she's dedicated her life to her kid, and now she's out here to do her own thing. So, I'm not sure how she's going to go. Physically,
That's bullshit.
She's quite fit.
That's bullshit.
So
man. We all
have bullshit
because we all have things that we go through in life, and we just have to do it. We don't do it, and then after we do it, we don't say, "Hey, I did this all my life, the thing I was supposed to do, but now I'm going to give some to myself." No, you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to be a mom. You're supposed to dedicate your life to your kids. And then when they grow up, you go do your thing. Don't go do a TV show and then say, "Oh, I'm going to win this because I dedicated my whole life to my kids." Guess what? I did too. I didn't win Survivor. So there.
No, I agree as well. So I don't know how she's going to go. Physically quite strong though, so
she seems like she's.
I don't think she's one of the weaker women out there.
Now she looks more to me like a Laura, and the whole style with Laura.
Yeah,
because Laura was great in competitions.
She was,
and she's strong-willed, strong-minded, and I think this is what this girl's going to be.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
If you could say one person on here that was a Russell, who's the Russell this season?
Who's the Russell?
Girl or boy, doesn't matter. Who's the Russell?
Gosh, who's the Russell? I would say, looking on paper, I would say AK is the Russell because I think he wants to get up to mischief. He's had videos talking about how he wants to just play a hard game. Aaron.
Oh, okay.
So he wants to play an aggressive game. He wants to,
You're off, man. You're off. It's Henry. Henry's the Russell.
You think Henry's the Russell?
Hey,
the fake yoga guy?
I was in Hurricane Katrina. My dog died because I was trying to escape from a house that was being flooded. And I was a firefighter, and I had to stay there. I had to stay there to protect the people because that's what I do.
Okay.
And then the flooding,
that's a very valid point.
Just saying.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden he is something that he's not, and he's doing it good. Just saying. And guess what? I can guarantee you. And the people that think I don't have a social game, they're silly. Because look, just like you said earlier, the reason I went to the end with these people, four of my final four in my first season would have jumped off a bridge for me. Why do you think that's the case? That's the case because why was we saying keep hope alive? Why was we saying hope and hope this and hope that? Because we were fighting for each other. It was all or nothing. We were going down. All of us were going down with the ship. Why didn't they just leave the ship? Because we had great. That's why Jay Saul didn't vote for me because he became so close with me. When I did that to him, it hurt him.
Yeah, too close. That is that. That's funny you say that, Russell, because I'm a very big fan of Samoa, the season itself, and coming back from the fall before in the position you were, getting Shambo over, getting Fincher over as well. At the end, like that is social game. That is not that's not strategy. That strategy comes into it, but it's the social game that puts you in that position.
Yeah, and that's what I think Henry's going to do. I think he's going to go in there. He's going to tell lies, and they're never going to know it. And they're going to like him, and he's going to constantly be stabbing them in the back, and he's going to get out who he wants out. Henry's going to win this game, man.
So Henry's your winner pick then. So he's locked in for you. He's the next Russell Hantz. But Russell, like you said,
I don't know if he's the next Russell Hantz, but
can he play? If he plays a devious game, will you think he'll be rewarded at the end? Do you think we're moved past that point where we can reward people who play hard games?
I sure hope so, because it's a shame when you see somebody playing so hard and they don't get rewarded. Man, it broke my heart, because it's like, man, I scored 5 touchdowns that game. They didn't do nothing. And you telling me I don't win the Super Bowl? I don't get nothing. Yeah. Jeff said this once. I gave my heart and soul to that game, and I was devastated when I finally, because I really wasn't sure. I've been hearing things, but when they read off Natalie White's name in my first season, I was, dude. You can see it in my face when you watch it. I just could not comprehend what just happened. It's just, that's a shame when y'all do that. You guys, if you play the game, and I keep saying this almost in every interview I do, vote for the person that beat your ass. Vote for that person that played the better game. You might not like them, but if they played it, now if all they did was cussing and hollering, I get it. But I didn't do that. I didn't do none of that.
I think we're seeing that though now, Russell. Though, I think we're seeing people who play games get rewarded at the end. I know Sarah this last season.
We're starting to see it a little
bit. Jeremy played a really good game. Even back to Tony, the comparisons of you played an aggressive game and was rewarded at the end.
Yeah, and you know what Spencer told me one time? Spencer from our season, he said, I was sick when I seen what happened to you. And when he went in that game, look what he did. He had a speech saying, we have to do this right. We have to vote for the person that played the best game. So, and I said it in interview after interview. I said, people are going to watch my season. Then those people that's watching my season are going to be the ones that play this game again and that does the right thing. So, where's my check, Tony? Congratulations, but I need a check because you won because of me.
But aren't you happy about that the game evolved to a point happy. Where someone who plays a game, an aggressive game like Tony played, and he played a tremendous game, that he can be rewarded at the end, and that we're not having juries like we used to have.
Oh, I was excited for Tony because he played an aggressive game and won. Sarah did the same thing, aggressive game, and she won. I think that that's how it has to happen. And for some reason, it happens more like that. I know they have, it's different with Big Brother. And it happens more to where they vote for the person that should have won the game a little bit more. I know it's controversial last season, but that's neither here nor there. So we got one more, man. I'm not really sure what to think about her, Samantha. What do you think about Samantha?
Yeah, physically she's going to be really strong. So she's an ultra marathon runner. She's run marathons across the world, not just standard ones like these really extra long marathons. She comes across she looks a lot like a player from last year called Elle who came third, was the day 54 person, went out just before the final tribal, and wearing overalls like Elle from last year as well. So I don't know what to make of Sam. I like her. I think she's again one of these people who's not going to cause too much of an issue, and might be able to just put herself in a position socially to make it quite far. And if she can, and I think she could win some individual immunities if she's with the right people, she could be dangerous.
Yeah, man, y'all got some crazy athletes this year.
Yeah,
crazy.
It's you need to. It's 55 days, Russell. Normal people can't last
That's
that long.
for damn sure. So you got, and you know what? She's 32, so she's not a child. So I think she can do well.
Yeah, I agree.
She ain't going to ruffle any feathers. She's going to be a great athlete to keep it around the challenge. She can, dumb it down a little bit to make sure she don't, too athletic. You don't want to do that right off the bat. But, I think she'll do well because she's at that age where she can actually do well. So I think we missed one. Did we talk about Peter?
No, I don't think we talked about Peter. So, again, I think Pete's a digital social media type of guy. He works in like something like that, and young as well. I think he's only 22. 22. But I think he's someone who's going to play a very social game from what we can see. In the adverts, he talks about how he wants to play socially, make relationships with people, and just be the nice guy around camp. He is a fan of the show by all accounts, so I'm hoping he'll be able to also make moves to put himself in a good position.
Okay. All right, man. Well, I want you to tell us a little bit about you. You have a podcast. I didn't even know you had a podcast, man. Tell me about it.
Yeah, sure. So I run a podcast called the Australian Survivor Community Podcast. We just talk about Australian Survivor. I just got back from New Zealand. I was talking about Survivor New Zealand, and we do exit interviews with the local players. So it's all that kind of stuff. So it's a little bit different. It's not coming from a player, so it's a different perspective. It's from a fan's perspective, but it's a good little thing to add into your weekly podcast with all the big ones that are there.
Yeah, and I've seen that. We're trying to get to where we can grow big enough to where we can actually go there for the live show. And if that happens, I've seen that you interviewed a few legends actually, but you haven't interviewed me yet. So maybe when I head down there, man, I'll come on your podcast and we'll talk about what just happened on y'all's seasons.
Yeah, most definitely. It'd be great. So you trying to head out for the finale this year? We want
the Russell Hant show. We want to be there at the live finale and talk to the cast and do all them fun things. So, right now we're trying to go that route. I mean, you would know this, but we've had 200,000 downloads in our first 2 months.
Wow. That is absolutely brilliant. That is crazy.
I mean, it's insane. And I just appreciate it. And my guy, he's like, man, if we would have only started when, after season 19 or 20 and, when you're at your height of, whatever you call it, fame or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, it wouldn't have worked because I'm driven now. You learn from things, your mistakes, you learn from your mistakes, you do stupid things, and then you learn from that and you gain wisdom and you grow from that and then you do better. I said this show would have never lasted if I would have had it after Heroes versus Villains. There's no possible way.
No, and I think you look at the other big podcasts like Rob has his podcast and he didn't start that until Heroes and Villains, and that's 12 seasons after he played All Stars. So sometimes you need that removal from the time to set yourself up, know what you want to do, and there are so many good Survivor podcasts out there. Yours, Max and Corinne are doing a great job. Right. Rob does a great job, but also there's some others like that are just popping up. Like Aubrey's just started her own podcast. Right. It's not Survivor related, which is brilliant, and it's just I think she interviewed Troyzan already as well. So there are so many good things out there. And
I've always said, man, we don't compete with each other; we complement each other because there's no competition. And you know what? When they finish listening to my podcast, go listen to Ron's podcast, and then go listen to. You have all day long, man. I mean, you work for a certain amount of time. You go and work out. You do this. You do that. We're here to entertain, and there's no competition on my side. And, I want everybody to succeed, especially Survivor and Survivor-related and Big Brother-related stuff. And, I think we all help each other out. It'd be a better podcast world. We could hold hands and sing that song. We are the one, we are the children. We could, you see? I'm going to be like the podcast Michael Jackson.
I probably would have gone somewhere else with that, but we'll see how that goes, Russell.
Oh yeah, I hear you. Yeah, maybe I should.
No, but I would just say, it's been great. Congratulations on starting it. It's not easy starting a new podcast.
It's not easy, dude.
Even when you're Russell Hantz, it's still.
Oh man, I'm constantly working. I'm constantly on the computer.
I listened to your interview with Robin the other day about Survivor casting, and it was such a good podcast. So I'd recommend people going to as well. And you got the new intro at the start of your podcast as well, which is great. So it's good to see things are onwards and upwards. You got your Patreon group as well happening. So
right, yeah. Right.
Things are buzzing.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. But, man, I sure appreciate you coming on the show. I want to have you back about the middle of the season so we can start talking about what's really going on, the interesting stuff. This podcast is probably going to be up tomorrow. And because this, y'all, what are y'all, starting how many days? 2 days from where? What time is
2
it?
days.
What day is it right now for you? Right
It's Friday, July 28th, and it's about 3:30 in the afternoon.
Okay. And
So we've got about 52 hours until Australian Survivor hits the airs.
Yeah, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning here. Yeah, everybody's like, "Oh, a podcast is easy." Well, guess what? I'm doing another interview at 2 in the morning. So just saying, I'm constantly just doing podcasts, and sometimes I don't even like them. I don't air them. If I don't like it, I don't air it.
Okay,
But I'll air this
we'll see if this one makes it. We'll see if this one makes it.
I'll air this one. No, it's not because I don't air it. It's because they time lapse a lot. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you'll do a
Yeah.
like I did a podcast with Flicka, and then it's like we can't release the podcast now because the show's coming on, and we didn't even talk about the show. So it's like, well, I need her back so we can talk about the episodes and stuff like that. But you know how it is. But man, yeah, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. It was fun.
Yeah, it was great, Russell, and I'll definitely be back halfway through the season.
All right, man. You have a good day, and stay away from them blackouts, and because you had a blackout earlier.
I've got a blackout right now.
That's an inside.
We're on laptop power right now, and we're getting low. So
okay, man.
Chat you later, mate.
All right, man. Later, bro.
All right, that was Ryan Brink. Thanks to him and all our Australian fans. Become a patron and get more content and bonus episodes, including video commentary of every episode of Survivor Samoa, weekly episodes of Whining with Wine, and you can become a patron for as low as $5. 5 gets you Russell's Alliance, 10 and you become a game changer, 25 and you're a legend. Go to patreon.com/RussellHance. Tune in soon for more Australian Season 2 coverage. I'm Russell Hance, and this is The Russell Hance Show.